welcome back. It's still Morning Spring on WSTV. Right here, we are about to talk about issues that pertains to labor matters. As we know, the organized labor and the federal government have been at loggerheads for quite some time now. And this is about the proposition acceptance of the minimum wage. The organized labor, that's talking about the Trade Union Congress and the Nigeria Labour Congress, jointly asked the federal government for the sum of 615,000 naira as minimum wage. According to them, it is a living wage, and it is in tandem with the reality, economic reality, that we find ourselves as a people. But the federal government say that is ridiculous. You know that the federal government, the state, and the organized labor has been on a negotiation table, tripartite committee, to look into the amount that is actually okay for the workers in the country. The federal government saying 615,000 naira is ridiculous and made a proposition of 48,000 naira. The Labour say that is a laughable amount and, you know, stormed out of that meeting the day they had it. And the federal government made another proposition of 54,000 naira, and still the organized labor think that is still a laughable amount considering the rate of inflation that we have in the country, food inflation, and even hike in transportation fares. Yesterday at a meeting, the federal government made that proposition and the organized labor stormed out of that meeting. The meeting is supposed to continue, the negotiation is supposed to continue today, and we do not know what the federal government is going to put at the table of the organized labor and if they will be accepting that offer. There are reports that the labor wants to settle for 100,000 naira, but of course the labor came out to debunk that report, saying they are not going to settle for 100,000 naira. Back and forth, here and there, we do not know what it is. But to help us have a hang of the situation that is going on, we have an inner man, is the #1 worker here in Osun State, the Nigeria Labour Congress Chairman, Osun State Chapter, Comrade Abimbola Arapasopo, right here with us in the studio. Welcome on board, sir.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you.
All right, so let's just get to business. What is happening? Why is Labour rejecting the offer made by the federal government, 48,000 naira? You said an increase was made to 54,000 naira, and Labour still thinks it's ridiculous. Why is this so?
Well, I want to start by saying leaders, you know, have forfeited right to excuse or excuses. And it is high time the federal government stopped treating workers, Nigerian workers, as slave or like slaves. It is high time they stop it. And you discovered a week ago the table of Labour and the federal government on the table of negotiation. Yeah. But we discovered as organized labor movement that the insincerity is there, that federal government, they are not sincere, they are not ready. How can you come to a negotiation or for a negotiation or a negotiating table with no templates, no yardstick, no plan? They came to the negotiation table with just take this. Labour proposed and we presented 615,000 naira.
But a lot of Nigerians have said the 615,000 naira doesn't even show that Labour is ready for this negotiation.
Based on the current happenings, based on the current situation in the country. Let me start by this. The federal government, let me say, Government Bureau of Statistics came out to say per meal, it is 900 naira. Okay. And as organized labor, we are saying we don't want your 900 naira, give us 500. We don't want your 900 naira, give us 500. And in a family of 6.
Per day or 3?
No,
per meal.
3 per meal.
Yeah.
That's 1.5 per day.
You get it. not per day. In the morning, you're expected to put something.
That's why I was saying the 3 square meal.
The 3 square meal.
You said 500 naira per meal. That's what Labour is proposing. That's 1.5 per day.
Not per day.
You don't expect people to eat 3 times in a day?
You have to. That's what he's saying. You have to eat 3 times, at least per day. And we are saying a meal should be 500 naira. We don't want your 900 naira. We also consider it based on the current situation in the country that give us 500. Then you multiply your 500 by 3, it will give you 1,500 naira.
Exactly.
And times 6 in the family. The father, the mother, and 3 are 4 kids. That is 9,000 naira. You multiply that by 30 or 31, it should give you 270,000 naira out of the 615 we are talking about.
Will the kids eat the same ration as the father in the house?
No, we just have to place it that way. If they as government are putting in that 900 naira per person, then we should not spell that for them.
Okay.
But we believe that human is human.
All right.
500 multiplied by 3 will give you 1,500. Multiplied by 30, it will give you 270,000 naira. You cannot even tamper with that. Then the issue of gas, kerosene or whatever, 35,000 naira. And as worker, you are expected to come to your office in a well-dressed.
Comrade Arapasopo, hope you understand that this is minimum wage. We're talking about the least worker here. So if we are proposing 615,000 naira, and you know that someone at the lowest cadre, in the office will not eat the same way, dress the same way as an executive director.
Let me help you. Don't forget, even the president said he's ready for living wage, not minimum wage. Living wage. That was what he said.
So this proposal is a living wage, not minimum.
Not minimum, living wage. And if you are talking about living wage, even if Labour presented or Labour is saying or proposed that give us 1 million naira, it is for you as government to also come with your own superior argument.
Okay.
That's what we are expecting from government. You can't just come up with a figure. And the other time they came with their 48, the question from Labour Circle or Labour organized Labour was, come, tell us, there should be variables. Is it inflation, foreign exchange, or exchange rates? Which one? Which templates are you using? How did you come about 48,000 naira and they couldn't say a word about it? So that is to tell you mistrust is there.
This 48,000 naira proposal by the federal government, is it living wage or minimum wage?
To them, they should be the one to give us the answer. But what we are saying that whatever you are going to give Nigerians should be living wage. And that's all.
Okay. Before Femi comes in, I'd like to ask, especially on this living wage issue, when you talk about living wage, is it going to quote across board? How do we separate someone at the lowest cadre from someone at the topmost cadre? How does it work?
That will be on the salaries table, salary scale. You understand? I'm talking about the salary table. And it should be based on basic, not cross.
Okay.
So from basic, you spread it. And that is, you are talking about the limit, the lowest leaders or the lower class or the lowest worker. And it should be based on basic. From there, you spread it across.
All right. Comrade Arapasopo, you are the chairman here in Osun for the Nigeria Labour Congress. So we expect that you have some information, even, as far as the decision-making process of the highest decision-making organ of your party, by the way. And that's what I'm asking you. 615,000 between you and of course, many persons will believe that the organized labor knows that this is more like an asking price. You just have to start somewhere because it is a negotiation. It is not just a postulation, you just put it there, pay or we are not collecting. This is more like an asking price. Will I be wrong to say that?
It is even wrong and ridiculous for federal government to be presenting 48 or 54 for Nigerian workers. It is very, very ridiculous. Like I was saying, it is for federal government to come with superior argument. We are saying just 500 naira. It is not for them to say we can get a meal or food from Mama Nike or Olorunwa for 200 naira. It is for them to just come up with their own argument, superior argument, and that is what we are on.
The time that the organized labor stormed out of that meeting, we learned that Comrade Abimbola said, and I think you have hinted at that as well, that you came to the table with, a plan, how you arrived at that particular point, but that the federal government didn't come with anything. They just threw it at you as a 14,000 naira. And yesterday we are hearing 54,000 naira again. And, let me quickly read this particular statement attributed to, the national president of the Labour Congress. And that news said it described as that particular proposal by the government, the 54,000 as unsubstantial. And he said it is not substantial compared to what we need to make a family move in. Those were his words. There is nothing on the table. We may be reconvening tomorrow, Wednesday, that is today, in the afternoon to continue negotiations. He further said, the economy of the workers is totally destroyed. In fact, the workers doesn't have any economy. I think there are two economies in the country, the economy of the bourgeois and the economy of the workers. I think we have to harmonize these so that we can have a meeting point. 48,000 naira, now 54,000 naira. For you, the labor brought 615,000 naira. And Nigerians are watching, by the way. It's not every Nigerian workers, every Nigerian person that are part of the organized labor, by the way, and they are watching, are these people serious? To show some kind of seriousness, averagely, in your own opinion, what do you think it should be? If you have to put a figure to that, with the reality
let me start.
Because this is a negotiation.
Now, I get you. You're right. Let me start from the private sector. The organized private sector came to the board, came to the table to say that the lists paid at the private sector, organized private sector, they are receiving 78,000 naira. The list. Then why will federal government come up with 48 and 54? And even labor, we are saying don't even near or come close to us with 100,000 naira because we are not going to take that from you.
So 100,000 naira is not a good pay.
No way.
Anything below 8,
you can't. You don't even come with 100,000 naira.
Comrade, many persons have questioned your negotiation, prowess as well. I'm talking about the organized labor. They feel that maybe the organized labor, the NLC, the TUC, they're negotiating from a place of weakness, that the government doesn't really take the labor serious. It's not just about the sincerity now, but that they don't hold the labor in high esteem because of possibly internal wranglings among the labor unions. There are times that, the NLC or the organized labor want to do a thing, the TUC will pull out, the NLC will go ahead. Sometimes these protests or these strike actions doesn't hold water. So they feel the government, I've seen it like, this is not the organized labor that we know. This is not the organized labor of Hassan Sumanu. This is not of Adams Oshiomole.
No, the organized labor is not organized.
Or Yuba Waba. Of course, as my colleague said, the organized labor is not even organized. Maybe that's why they are quote unquote toying and they feel they can get away with anything.
Few days ago,
would that be wrong?
Few days ago, we had our NEC meeting of that of the NLC and TUC, and we all resolved that federal government should just please come up with something. Let Nigerians also see it. put something on the table. Come with your argument. We are saying 615,000 naira. Can you just come up with something and tell us 615,000 naira is not feasible, it's not doable, it's not workable, and that's all. I think we should not be dragging this as the organized labor and the federal government.
Comrade, what I'm saying is, do you think the government owes you serious enough?
Why won't they? But the truth is,
because they feel the organized labor is not organized. Don't
forget, we have issued ultimatum that by the 31st of this month, May, we should have completed the issue of living wage as far as this country is concerned. So it is left for the federal government to do the needful.
Do you think they care enough?
Then let's wait and see.
Because that's why I have to mention some former leaders. Hassan Sumano. Yeah.
Adam
Soshomole. Even Ayuba Waba. That from that point to this point, it does look like some downgrade. And because you will, the NLC will call for extract action. You will. It's only people like us from the media that will show the people that this is really happening. It doesn't hold water.
We actually have.
What is happening? Like the labor has lost that steel.
No, you can't say that. We actually have strong belief in the leadership of the national president, Joe Ajayo.
Do you?
Yeah.
Personally,
why not? We believe in him because I wish you were at our NEC meeting few days ago, 3 or 4 days ago.
Right.
He was after all states. He was after, in fact, he was the one taking the attendance to know that, yes, state A, state B, or Akwa Ibom or whatever, Osun, yeah, you are there, so that we can take that decision together, and of which we did.
Attendance is one thing. Making a decision that holds sway is another
You say that.
You say?
You are saying that?
No, that is the way it is. Yeah. That's the way it is. You need to get feelers from the people who are not labor guys for you to know that even the people who doesn't trust labor enough to say, yeah, when they go for a thing, they can always have it because, you know, possibly interference, political distractions, and the rest of it.
There's need for
so I'm not the one saying that.
There's need for you to know this. Gone are those days that unionism has to do with table banging, shouting, doing this or whatever.
But you provided a result.
Now it is you using, it's all about you having your intuition.
Is it working?
Your common sense.
But is it working? It's not working.
It's working. Why not? Coupled with the facts of the happenings in the country.
Yeah.
You can't afford to go to the streets now and start mobilizing. Nigerians will come in. They will come out.
So you are being considerate as well.
You get it. But one thing is, as far as we are concerned, we are ready for the task ahead of us.
What is the task ahead?
And that is, federal government should put smile on the faces of Nigerian workers and the entire citizens of Nigeria.
All right, let's look at you. You've been, hammering on the fact that you brought your argument that the federal government on the negotiating table should also bring a superior argument if they feel the 615,000 naira doesn't hold water. So I have your argument with me right here on the table. You know, the breakdown of the 615,000 naira by the organized labor. You said housing or accommodation, 40,000 naira in a month.
Yep.
Electricity power, 20,000 naira in a month.
Yep.
Someone might say, okay, that's reasonable, owing to the fact that the hike in electricity tariff at this time. Utility water, 10,000 naira. Kerosene or gas, 35,000 naira. That's more than 2 cylinders in a month. And people might ask, what are you cooking? I mean, it's just 6, a father and mother and 4 kids. That's the proposition you're making for this. What are they cooking? Are they going to be having parties every weekend in their home? You know, food, okay, 9,000 naira, you mentioned it times 30, that's 270,000 naira in a month. Medical, 50,000 naira. Clothing, 20,000 naira. Education, 50,000 naira. Sanitation, 10,000 naira. Transportation, 110,000 naira. And people are asking, where are you traveling to? I mean, there are some figures on this breakdown that people consider very ridiculous. Very ridiculous. And some people believe that you should be fighting for a better economy, not really a minimum wage. For instance, the medicals, you should actually probably be speaking or advocating for all workers to be on a health insurance, and the federal government should see to that. For electricity or power, you should be on the neck. Of course, I know that you also have, the NLC, organized labor, have lent their voice to the fact that they want the distribution companies or the Ministry of Power to reverse all of that. But don't you think you should be speaking more to economy policies and not money, minimum wage? You want minimum wage, 615,000.
Well, I wouldn't want to be a kind of advocate for the federal government, but I stand to be corrected. And I want to stand on my feet on what I've been saying before now, that if we are saying, give us 20 naira, it is for you as government to come out and say, I can't pay this 20 naira based on these facts, and that's all. Yeah. It settles everything.
Comrade, I'd like to use this illustration. Have you gone to market before and you want to purchase an item and you say, how much?
You have to price it.
And and they say, how much? Probably you had the mind that, okay, this product should be in the range of maybe 100 naira.
Of course.
And you get to the seller and the seller says 1,000 naira.
Yeah,
and
then
you're
I'll
like,
have to price.
You know, sometimes you move out. You say, I can't even price
you just have to start somewhere.
So don't you think that's what happened with the federal government?
You must go back home with something.
But they started somewhere, and you people are saying it's ridiculous.
With that ridiculous amount, we would rather work for the government free of charge than to come home with that ridiculous amount.
Which you will not do.
Let's watch it.
Quickly, we'll be talking about the federal government. There is a committee put together, a tripartite committee made up of the representatives of the federal government, the state government, the organized labor, and of course the private sector as well.
Yeah.
How come you have not really been speaking about the decision of that committee? The point has always been on federal government. There are other state governments, because many persons are saying, when you are through with the Abuja discussion, what happened?
So we are coming back home.
In other states as well. But there is a tripartite committee that should see to that. Are you talking with them? Is there a committee that is even sitting at all? Or you are just been meeting the representative of the federal government?
I need to clear this.
Please.
Don't forget that those representing the Forum of Governors are also representing the interests of the federal government.
Is that the way it works?
No, that is what they're doing. They are there to represent also the interests of the federal government. Why?
So they are not speaking on behalf of their selves as state?
Governors are governors, and they are governments. Then when you are talking about government, you're also talking about federal government.
How about the private sector? Are they really involved in this conversation?
That was what I said earlier, that they came up telling us that the list is receiving 78,000 naira as organized private sector.
Okay.
Comrade Arapasopo, there are talks also that why is the organized labor fighting this cause wrongly? I mean, we run a federal state and people are asking, or they are saying that this fight or this struggle should be done at the state level, because we know that as we speak now, there are states that are not even paying the 30,000 minimum wage. So why is it that the labor is fighting this cause from the central instead of decentralizing it and allowing, prevailing on the federal government to allow negotiations at the state level, so that each state can tell you what they can afford, and the labor unions in that state can see to it and say, okay, this is reasonable, because 48,000 naira in a state like Ekiti, some people might say we can still work with that, but in Lagos State they will tell you that's a ridiculous amount.
Even that of Ekiti cannot come home with 100,000 naira. We don't forget we are going to the same market. We are all Nigerians.
Yeah.
And let me start from where you started from. As states are also under the federal government. That is where they draw their allocation from.
States are independent.
Yeah, but they have...
It's only that there's allocation.
You understand?
Yeah,
so
that joins everyone.
You get it. It has been from federal to states. And I hope one day that we will start negotiation or negotiating per hour in this country, as far as Nigerian workers.
Some persons have proposed that.
As far as Nigerian workers are concerned, they also need and deserve a better life, better living.
But why are you not proposing that?
That was why I said I hope very soon in this country
We're not there yet.
we have to do that.
You think we're not there yet?
For a country that is not yet serious about the citizens, you want to come and negotiate per hour, even that of the whole hours, they are not doing it.
Many persons will even say the organized labor might not want to agree with per hour.
No, we will have to start somewhere.
Productivity. That's one conversation. Comrade, hold on. If you can please hold on. That's one conversation that we should have as well. That who measures the productivity of an average Nigerian worker, the organized labor? You're vocal when things are not going right, when you want to talk about welfare, increase in salary, negotiation of wages. But is with that kind of energy, does organized labor measure, see that the workers are productive, especially in government institutions? You know how it works around here.
I get you.
Because productivity on one side, negotiation on one side. And whatever you are bargaining for, whatever you are negotiating for, who draws the line of productivity?
What productivity are we talking about?
Yeah.
Are you talking about someone who is a worker who is not well paid? Someone who left home without eating? And you want to see results? You can't have it.
So that's the reason why, because they are not properly remunerated, that's the reason why they will not be productive.
You can't have it. You're also a worker.
Really?
Can you stand here for, let me say, 10 hours without eating? It's not possible. You will definitely feel it.
Are you saying that's the reason why
it's one of the reasons.
Remuneration affects productivity.
Of course it will.
It affects it.
It does.
So if you are given what you're asking for, let's assume there is an agreement now that pays every site as well. Who draws the line of productivity? It's not just on that Bolatino who I'm talking about. You know people's disposition
I get you.
to government workers.
But don't forget he's the president.
I know. I'm only saying by and large, not just under the administration of Bolatino, but people's disposition, workers' disposition to everything that has to do, especially those in government offices. Civil servant. The civil service, who sees, is that part of jurisdiction of labor unions to see that their their members are productive? Who draws the line? Salary, increase. How about the productivity?
I started by saying you can be talking about productivity without talking about a better living first. You going to your work or you going for a daily activity. The happiness in you must be there, that you are going for a day job. Then you must have that zeal in doing it. Not someone who left home without putting something on the table for the family, and you expect such person to go to work and have good whatever with the boss or even with the co-workers or whatever. It doesn't work that way. And that is why we are saying workers deserve good pay. You give it to them, then we know how to do that.
And that has always been the case.
That's it.
Has there been any time in this nation, I'm asking you now, as a labor leader, of course, that's why you are here, that the Nigerian civil service or civil servant or the organized labor has been averagely well paid? Has there been any time?
Well, as far as that is concerned, I wouldn't say no, and I would not say yes. Because I could recollect, even in our states, that was 2007, Osun workers were well paid, and it was under the regime of the then Governor Ohiolei. You know, by that time we wanted to, you know, embark on industrial strike, of which at the end of the day we were able to, you know, put things together, and the strike was suspended and called off. And I think as far as this state is concerned, that was the best of the best.
Really?
As far as this state
better
is
than
concerned.
what you have now under Governor Adeleke?
Yeah.
The last time you were here, you were praising the governor.
Don't
he's
forget,
the best.
yeah.
He's doing well.
No, he's doing well.
What has
but
happened?
Don't forget the table we are using was never negotiated. He was never the governor. Let me put it that way.
Osun workers, how are they faring under Governor Adeleke? You are the labor leader.
Yeah. Oh well, I give it to him. Honestly speaking, this is not because he's the governor, but honestly, I respect people who respect their opinion, who respect whatever they say. I could recollect during his electioneering campaign, he was specific about workers' welfare, workers' well-being and packaging. And immediately he came on board, he met with labor leaders, and we were able to discuss based on his promises that he made before coming on board. As far as this state is concerned, you may ask any worker. This current governor, Dr. Senator Dr. Ademola Jackson Adeleke, that ever since he came on board, salary has been as a went due, prompt payment of
what about
pensions, and even the backlogs of salary arrears.
How is that going?
Very, very well.
How many months has he been able to pay?
Immediately he came, there was a circular came out that quarterly he will, you know, continue paying. And if I'm not mistaken, there should be the sixth payment.
Yes, paid the sixth one.
Payment.
I understand.
And that was last month.
Yeah, I understand we must go, Comrade. But can you, in clear cautions, look at Osun people and people watching you all across the world and say, under Governor Adeleke, Osun workers are absolutely happy?
We are happy. I need to say that. If I will have to come back to the state alone, not talking about the happenings around the country, but as far as workers in Osun is concerned, the happiness of a worker is work and pay. Once you get paid, then the happiness will be there. Promotion was given, that of 2020, the last promotion, and we've all received it financially last month, and of which by July, we'll be having 2024 promotion.
Okay, so we have to go, Comrade Abimbola, but then the Labour has given a deadline of May 31st.
Yep.
If the federal government does not do the needful, they will hit the street. And of course, there will be an industrial action, and we know what this means. It's going to ground the nation. Are you still on that mandate?
We are not changing it.
May 31st, if the federal government, the state government does not bring an amount that Labour agrees to, there will be a shutdown.
No, of course,
the
we will have to go back to our parliament, take our decision, and that's all.
Very quickly, how do you react to the fact that a state has, gone ahead to increase the minimum wage while this negotiation is still ongoing? I'm talking about Edo State. Your counterpart from Edo State, are they receiving? Have they received the 70,000 naira?
You can't, for crying out loud, you can't call that a minimum wage or living wage. It is wage award.
No,
but the governor said it's minimum 70,000 naira minimum wage.
Not the award.
He's joking.
So they have not been receiving.
He's joking.
The payment.
That is, as far as we are concerned, as organized labor, it is wage award. You can't call it minimum living wage.
Is there a wage award in Osun State?
Of course.
Is it going?
Of course. It all started last year, December. Yeah. And it's ongoing.
How much?
And 25,000 naira, 15 for serving, and 10 for pensioners.
All right.
Okay. Thank you so much, Comrade Abimbola Arapasopo, the NLC chair for Osun State. We appreciate your time on the show, your submissions, and we hope that the federal government and the organized labor would actually reach a compromise, so we do not have to ground the nation.
We hope so.
Because we all know that when two elephants fight, the grass will suffer. The people definitely will suffer if we have the nation on a shutdown. But thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Yeah.
All right, and that's where we draw up the conversation this morning. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being a part of our world. We'll make a return for another edition tomorrow. Until then, have for yourself a good and prosperous day. Remember that you can watch a recap of this show on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and X at Western Spring Television. I'm Evelyn Ohiolei.
Femi Ojo is my name. God willing, we'll be back here tomorrow. God bless Nigeria. Bye.